How you doing, everybody? Thanks for stopping by and joining us today for another Rolling Over the Hill right here on the Live to Roll channel. And thanks to all of you for being part of the Live to Roll family. Also, I'd like to thank our sponsors and mobility professionals and urology professionals. They're a great and helpful group of experts that are very much part of our community and can help you with all your mobility and rehab equipment as well as your urological needs. So, a big thanks to them for sponsoring Live to Roll. Today's show will be open discussion. We'll be hanging out with you and talking about different things pertaining to disabilities as well as aging with a disability. We're all survivors. There's plenty to talk about, so let's share. And so please don't forget to mention your questions, comments in the chat. My name is Robert Soto. I'm a T12 spinal cord injury from a motorcycle racing accident 50 years ago. So let's get started and welcome my co-host, Bobby and Luis. Luis, what's going on?
Hey guys, how you doing? It's good to see everybody. Um, for those that don't know, I'm an L3, L4, so belly button level. I was injured in an industrial accident 44 years ago, so I'm one of the old guys here.
You're one of the old guys. Well, I'm the
Yeah,
youngest, and the youngest in age, actually, believe it or not. 35 years of a C5-6 quadriplegia. I'm Bobby Rohan. 35 years, I think I said that, but from a bicycle accident where a car cut me off and I was put into a back of a big old yellow school bus. Luis, great to have you back.
yeah.
We're excited today. We just have a quick open discussion. Not quick. We're going to be here an hour. So definitely in the chat, hit us up on any questions. Don't forget, we are sponsored today by mobility professionals and urology professionals. They are your urology needs and mobility needs for Southern California on your mobility and urology needs across the uh, country and every state statewide. So give them a ring, hit them up. They'll be a great addition to getting your supplies easy. Hey Mickey, how's it going? We got Chris R. Chris R, what's up, buddy? And Daryl in the house, and a couple more that I don't see on the chat. But um,
Jeff Rennick.
what's that?
Jeff Rennick is here.
Oh yeah.
Jeff Rennick.
I,
He's one of our local quads.
oh nice. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, we just have an open discussion. I told the guys, let's take a look at New Mobility magazine and kind of search what's going on and that it's a great resource. If you don't know about New Mobility magazine, definitely look them up. Newmobility.com. Pretty easy. Can't It is kind of like your People magazine, but for us, the spinal cord world, if you want to call it. But great, interesting articles. And Shawn pointed out because he's like, "Hey, I just subscribed to the print copy, and now they're going to be all digital." So they've been all print ever since I can remember. My 35
Yeah.
years of being injured. I don't know about you, Luis.
I think when uh, Robert and I were first injured, I think it was pretty much spokes and sports and paraplegia news, and that was
Yeah,
kind of about it. And then new mobility came in the late '80s, early '90s, something like that.
probably because it was like 90 when I got hurt, and I think some of the magazines were just coming out. And I think we on our Tuesday group we had the editor of New Mobility, Ian Rudder. He was on, and he might have mentioned when the first print went out. But oh well. But it's something you should know. Definitely looking up great articles,
Yeah.
and one that caught my attention. And when we talk about the aging with a disability, is our shoulders. And I
Yeah.
know. Robert is the big component of this one, and he can talk probably more on that. But um, there was a good article, I would say, and there's actually 4 articles on shoulder
Shoulders.
pain. And one of the articles was the latest on shoulder surgery, a reverse total surgery replacement.
Yeah. I don't know.
Sounds pretty pretty what you call it, pretty
Well,
heavy,
we-
and a
well, for me,
lot of. Go ahead.
no, well, for me, I'm just going to jump in and say, the best surgery is no surgery. And like I said, there might be, I don't want to discourage anybody from, doing what they need to have done or whatever. But for me, it's just like I'm getting older. I don't recover. I don't want to be in a facility for months because I have to have both shoulders. Supposedly supposed to have both shoulders done, but I'm not, and I haven't. Um, that's a lot of recovery. That's a lot of rehab, and especially with me getting older. And I'm not trying to make excuses or anything like that, but getting older, it's just a bitch getting out of bed sometimes. I mean, just
Robert,
let alone adding to do your daily duties and doing some rehab. That's not going to be easy. I know.
did you have one of your shoulders done?
No, I haven't had anything done.
Not both,
Both of
but
them are
one. You
both of
haven't
them are
had nothing
shot.
done at all.
Nothing.
Okay.
So no
What are
surgery is
you
the best
doing
surgery for
to
me.
maintain them?
He
What was
doesn't
that?
do anything.
No. Yeah, I
Are you
don't.
are
He
you
I
said,
doing
just
are you doing any kind of exercises or
no. I do my daily
therapy?
duties. The day, just pushing around in my chair, doing my transfers I need to do, pushing in and around, going to different places and hanging out and stuff like that with my buddies and stuff. I mean, that's what I save my arms for.
Are
That's
you
that's
using any adaptive equipment? Say,
no. I'm not doing anything. Nope. Nope.
so you
Nothing.
stay pushing,
I'm doing
driving
what
that chair.
I'm doing like I normally do, like if my shoulders were fine. But I mean, I have limits. I think Bobby's. There's a few people that notice, but I think Bobby's the one that notices a lot when I try to hand him something or try to do something. He'll notice one of my arms kind of like
he
lagging.
kind of he looks like a
Yeah.
quad sometimes because he's like, "Oh, here you go,"
That's
and I'm
it,
just
man.
like, that's not a normal toss of a
Yeah,
person.
from a
No,
para, right?
no.
But the
So
thing is so and they're sore all the time. So I mean, I just something I got used to. Sometimes they're pretty achy, but now with me being retired, I have the opportunity to rest, to take that day off if I need to or whatever. But I don't really do much for it. I mean, I was doing therapy for a while, and I know what they show me what I needed to do in terms of when I do, because I was using bands for a while, just you're stretching and loosening up in the mornings and stuff, and using the just kind of doing a little exercise at one time for all the stabilizer muscles. But I really use my daily activities that are that's kind of
Hmm.
like my exercise, if anything. Because like a couple of weeks ago, which kind of really had a good time, is Bobby had that event pushed to the pier, and that was pretty good because I mean, I had my smart drive just in case I really needed, but um, it's when it's level, when they're not really putting the shoulders into the straining piece, there's no problem. It's just, pushing up some hills once in a while. I don't want to strain them like that. So I'll use the power, the power is just the smart drive or whatever. But for the most
but
part, that's the only exercise I've done in years, man. If anything like that, I need cardio, but that's
but
just me getting out
also,
of.
I think your main thing is, Robert, and what might keep you out of having surgery is, I think you've been listening to your body, and now that you're retired, you're not trying to push through anything, and
Yeah.
you know not to say like, oh, boring Robert, because you're not boring, but you're trying to live a simpler life where it's not so hectic
Yeah.
and on the move, and you
More
do what you want.
preservation. More
Yeah,
so for preservation. Before, I'd screw up my shoulders and all that, and I'd go to work. I'd still try to work through it and stuff like that. And it's just, I'm not making excuses or anything like that. I'm um, just trying to get through my days. And as long as I don't
Yeah.
really screw them up anymore or whatever, but they are declining. I mean, that's aging as well too. It's not so much just disability. It's aging. I'm not as strong as I used to.
Right.
Exactly. And you guys know me for years, the decades that I've been injured, 44 years, I have been all about taking care of myself. Because that was pumped into me by Rancho Los Amigos is you're going to be around a long time. Make sure that you last as long as you can. So I've worked towards that my entire injury. And even despite that, I'm starting to notice a difference in my arms. Now,
Yeah,
I haven't gone back as much as other people, but I notice that with age, I can still do a lot of things. I'm still just as strong. I don't have quite the endurance that I used to,
yeah. Well,
and
I
that's the biggest
think
difference.
I wish I would have known. I wish I would have known a little bit more about that. Well, I mean, it's kind of common sense too. Just not overdoing it with one thing. But I think when they uh, showed me how to use the crutches and braces, my ambulatory uh, functions like that, I didn't think they were. I didn't think they knew I was going to use it as much as I did because
Yeah,
it's just the way it worked out. I don't know why I did. I mean, that was what I was all about. But I think that was the piece. But no one ever really told me that. But I think they just didn't think I was going to be. I was going to use it for here and there, not as much as I did. Um, because most of my jobs are what required me to be on crutches. I mean, everything that I was doing was upstairs. There was no elevators. I was in the logistics world, so had offices above a warehouse, and there's always stairs and stuff like that. So I mean, it's kind of
yeah,
like
But you knew, but in some sense, you knew uh, that you were probably overdoing this on your shoulder, and one day it was going to catch up.
I don't know. I don't know if I paid much. Really, like I said, I was like in a whole different thing. I mean, I knew there was as my shoulders as I was getting older, and my shoulders were bothering me a little bit more. Yeah, I would read an article here and there, but I was, if it would have helped if I'd have been more in connection with the community again. That's why I always tell people stay connected, right? Don't get disconnected like I did because I could have talked to people. I just didn't have a relationship with anybody where I could talk about it. You know,
yeah.
so I don't know. But yeah, I'm not making excuses, but yeah, I beat him up and didn't do anything about it.
Yeah. Well, this article showed, the and just like any surgery, and the more you keep hearing about like somebody getting a knee or a hip, especially hip,
Yeah,
hip
yeah,
is in and out, man. You go home the next day, if that. They're that's just like done. You'll be walked in just fine in 6 weeks. Don't worry about it. Do your PT. I mean,
yeah.
surgeries are getting easier and the technology is better. So, I mean, I don't think, I know, Leon, you said something about after a few messed up surgeries, I hate the thought, I hate the thought of even trying one, again,
Yeah.
I don't blame you. But after a while, and, and I don't know if this is for you, but does your shoulder pain, keep you up at night, Robert? Or even
Um,
you, Louis?
it used to. Now I think I got used to it, and I've learned how I sleep. Before I had to adjust the way I sleep on my side if I'm using on my shoulders and things like that. So they're just sore. And there's some times where I'll reach for something, and because I remember my therapist a few years back was saying, you can't do stuff real quick. Like, sometimes when you react to something, that's where you kind of tweak something. So like I can reach for something, but I got to pull back a little slower. It's something that's, at first you got to think about it, but now it's becoming pretty natural for me just to kind of just take it easy with it. I
Yeah.
know my limits, when I fold clothes and stuff like that, my arms get tired and I really can't hold one up. So I have to let it rest for about 10, 15 seconds. And then I'm back to using it. I mean, and the thing is it's like getting surgeries. I think I mean, I don't know if I have it in me to go through rehab again for two shoulders.
Yeah.
And I know I know the rehab can't be easy. I mean, I know getting that range of motion back and all that. Heck,
Well,
I don't
it's
know.
almost like everything you taught yourself how to do for as long as you can remember, meaning, you know, sit up in bed, how to put your
Yeah,
shirt on. I mean,
yeah,
for what, at least probably 2 weeks, you're under the total care of somebody, in the sense of as basic as I can put it, wiping your ass.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah,
because you got to keep that shoulder down so there's no popping up or grabbing on.
yeah. So it's like I
Maybe I'm
said,
wrong,
I
and I don't know total. I mean, the article goes into a few of these little details, but it's better. It's not perfect. One thing that it did talk about is that um, for those, it's proving to this reverse total shoulder replacement is
yeah,
getting better, but there are still, just like anything, that can have problems. And one thing they talked about is, dislocating, um, which they don't find in your normal AB where they don't do as much. So,
yeah, yeah.
they're finding that
Exactly,
there's a
because
little
we're
bit.
one transfer, But again, I think the success of the surgeries are a lot reliant on the rehab. So I think I'm not trying to discourage anybody because I think if you're younger, you're going to recover a little bit easier. You still got the little more resilience in you. I'm just talking from an old man perspective. I
Yeah.
just don't know if I have it in. I don't know if I have it in me.
Mm. And Leon said it, scar tissue doesn't heal as well as either, when having surgery. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious because I'm really terrible about this. Uh,
yeah.
Going for follow-ups and long-term follow-ups. How about the two of you, Bobby and Robert? How long has it been since you had a general review of somebody looking at your health and saying, you should work on this. Nah, leave that alone, but work on this here instead. How long has it been?
I'm pretty good about it, and I'm only good because it renews a lot of things for me. Meaning, my medication that I have to be on. So I have to see my cardiologist every so often, um, and it just seems like anytime I try to ask for something as simple as let's just say I'm thinking about applying for a grant on another hand cycle, electric hand cycle, more of the upgraded. And so as I'm thinking about this, one thing you need, and because I do the grants for Triumph Foundation all the time, is you need a doctor's note. Well, if you call your doctor and you haven't seen them in a year, they're not going to write it. They're
Yeah,
not going to
yeah,
do anything. Doctors will not do anything for you anymore
Yeah.
unless you see them within that year. So now it's pretty easy to go see my urologist, my um, also my whatchamacallit, just my primary care, which is more my, I call him the urgent care doctor, who just kind of overall looks and can help me get a couple little things. And then my infectious disease doctor, we just do it over the text. It's just
yeah.
like,
That's
all right, you're signed for a year,
yeah,
good to go.
yeah. For
I
me,
have to admit, it's
I
been a while since I've had an evaluation.
see that's see I that was me at one time, but I go every 3 months to a doctor's appointments. I have the follow up with blood work, my primary doctor, and I have a kidney specialist that we just kind of keep eyes on my body, and because I take medications for certain things. And now I finally got a urologist, so that's the guy I've been dealing with for my UTIs and prostate issues now. And so I'm trying to get a wheelchair and this new smart drive coming up. So I finally got recommended and referred to a physiatrist. So hopefully that's somebody that I like and stuff like that. So because I never had one of those either. So, but for me, I go to the doctor every 3 months. My blood work is constant.
That's actually awesome. Because
Yeah,
literally
definitely.
I'll go 10 years without seeing a doctor.
Yeah. See, I don't think I can. I don't think I can. There's
Well,
always some little thing going on with me,
every
man.
time I go to a doctor, we have a hospital over here that has a family clinic across the street. And I go to that family clinic and they ask, well, we don't have any record of you being here before. And I'm like, well, how long do you keep your records? Oh, we keep them for 2 or 3 years. Well, I haven't been here for 10 years. My records are gone. And they, well,
Yeah.
you need to come in more often. Well, I haven't had a problem,
Eh,
you know, and a lot of times they want to be like, well, if you don't come in regular, we can't treat you regular. Just
yeah,
like Bobby was saying earlier, if you're not coming, they're not interested.
right. They want you to take care of your health, and
Yeah.
nowadays too, there's incentives. Like we have a special plan through our insurance that if I go and do my eye checkup, they'll give me a little check, a
A
bonus.
card.
Yeah,
Because I get a gift card for keeping my
yeah,
appointments.
yeah, and
Yeah.
also because I did my Medicare once a year checkup, I got something. My wife gets it for every time she does a mammogram,
Yeah.
and those little things. So
Well, like Leon says in the chat here, Leon's talking about how he needs a good doctor, a team of doctors. And that's how I went through the system. Was You're a spinal cord injury, you need a team of doctors. And nowadays, you can't get a team of doctors. It's unless you're going to a facility that is set up for that. You know, most insurances want you to just go to the local GP, who is not a spinal cord injury specialist, knows nothing about spinal cord injuries, and half the time, these new guys are younger than my children. They're still
Yeah.
going through their internship. They're not actually a doctor. And I know more about my condition than they do because they're just a regular GP that treats
Yeah.
colds and flus. They don't know anything
Well,
about spinal cord injury.
yeah. Well, my
I,
primary doctor, he wasn't a spinal cord doctor, but I mean, he was just a regular general practitioner. But I've been with him
Yeah.
so many years now. He's learned a lot, and he does know something. And so when I mention certain things to him,
Yeah.
he understands. But what's the positive piece about him is that he'll give me referrals to specialists, whatever.
Yeah.
So I got a urologist because of him. I have a physiatrist now, hopefully because of him. I have this kidney doctor just to keep the kidney on
Hmm.
check, just to make sure everything's okay with my medications that I'm taking and stuff. And so I've been building a team of doctors now. But there's a lot of doctors. I've never had a urologist, which is crazy for being a spinal cord injury for 50 years. You know?
Yeah.
it's also a communication thing. Like you know, we are experiencing younger doctors, and I even think this with even your older doctors, that have been around because they stopped investing as much in the sense of the new technology stuff. But it's also a great teaching moment about not only, your care, but if you are going to, you know, say yes to seeing someone like this, here's some good teaching techniques and here's some good places that you can learn more about our lifestyle and what,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what's expected of us and what's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And, I they might take it for shit for all or they'll take it, and run with it, going, yeah, thanks, because sometimes younger, you know, I think there was a time when 20 years ago when doctors were getting into being a doctor, they were
Yeah.
thinking, cha-ching, let me drive my
Yeah.
Porsche or whatever you want to call it. But but that's not the case anymore. I think now people know that they're going into healthcare just, as a regular job because they want to help
Yeah.
people. And so
Yeah.
they might be, eager to learn. Don't put labels on that until you really get to know who your doctor is. And I
Yeah.
get it, Leon. It is hard to find a good team. I was frustrated so much at once. I went to Colorado to see if I can get a good team. And that
Yeah.
Did
just
you
wasn't
happen to go to
easy.
Craig?
Yeah, I went to Craig for a checkup, at
Yeah.
my 30-year anniversary or something like that, or just before. And, it was great and learned some things. But it's not a practical doctor situation where
Yeah.
I can go in when I'm not feeling well because it's all the way out in Colorado.
Yeah. Yeah. But now, how do you guys, when you guys get a new doctor, you see a doctor for the first time, uh, how do you judge your own personal judgment of that doctor? Because, like for me, I it depends on what questions a doctor asks me when they find out you're a spinal cord injury. There's certain questions that I expect them to ask, and if they don't, it kind of says, well, they didn't even ask me questions about this or that. So
Hmm.
that I know that may be superficial, but I that means a lot to me. If they ask me certain questions about spinal cord injury, or let you know something that they say that they're aware of spinal cord injury and what it is, and they're not experts in it, but they're familiar with it. So that's my judgment. Something like that. I don't know how if that's a thing to do, but that's what I do.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
I
think you're right, Robert.
go ahead, Luis.
The big thing that I always ask is, um, what do you know? What can I share with you? What do you want to know from me so I know what to ask of you? And most of the doctors that I've had more recently are pretty good about sharing that information, what their expertise is and what their expertise is not. And
Well,
we end up in a sharing situation
yeah.
where we
Well,
both
see,
share information with each other.
my thing is more like I wait for them to ask me a question. So when you go in there and they go, "Hey, so how come you're in the chair? Spinal cord injury, blah blah." And one of the first questions I like them to ask, "What level are you?" When I hear that, they kind of have the right direction going. Is what I'm getting at. Things like that,
Exactly.
incomplete or complete. If they even know stuff like that, and then we can talk a little bit more about it. But that's what I look at. Uh, that
Also,
makes
we're
it.
pretty lucky out here. We can get a lot of doctors that went through the USC
Yeah,
Connecticut program, and their backyard for interning is USC County Hospital and Martin Luther King, and a couple of these other places that are low in, high emergency, high
yeah,
spinal cord. They, all day long, all they're seeing is wound care. You know,
yeah.
Yeah,
and so a
I
lot of
know.
times I'll just ask, where'd you do your school and internships? And once I hear, any of those, I'm like, so you know about spinal cord, and they're like, oh yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Especially like you mentioned, wound care. There's a lot of doctors that have coming through the ranks with with the knowledge of pressure sores, especially when it's with spinal cord injuries. And it's funny because the when I had my surgery done, it was done at Rancho Los Amigos with Dr. Rabahi, which is one of the premier guys in the industry and stuff. And it's funny because when you meet some other doctors here and there, they go, "Oh yeah, I interned for him," or whatever the terminology is. And so it's a tough field to feel comfortable with someone's going to do a muscle flap and that want to make sure that you know what they're doing, and they start throwing a few things around. And it's important for me to feel comfortable with the doctor that they kind of understand. It needs to have an idea of what I'm about.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
One
know,
of
I
the
mean,
things I always do when I go in for either a doctor, a therapist, or whatever, the first thing I do is I look at the books on their desk or in their bookshelf. While I'm sitting waiting there for them to come in, I'm looking to see what they studied.
yeah.
And if I see my doctor's names on those books, I know I'm in good hands.
There you go. Yeah, I can see that. That's for sure.
So if you see books that have like um, Dr. Komar, world renowned urologist, Jacqueline Perry, you see that frequently between doctors and
Yeah,
therapists and whatnot. And if they've studied that doctor, I know I'm in good hands, and I'm happy about it.
yeah, and I also like a doctor who's like I have a new, well, it's not new, but maybe now I'm on the second year, but I just had an appointment with him, my yearly checkup for UTI, and he came in and I love it because he sat down and just like put his arm on the desk just like this, and he's like, "What's up?" You know, we're
Yeah.
just what's going on in your life and this and that, and I was kind of bringing up some situations about my parents and how hard it is lately, and this and that, writing and other things, but um, uh, at the end of the day, he's a young, uh, really listened to everything, wasn't concerned in the sense of how many UTIs I've had. But, I finally said, the only problem I have is a little bit of my suprapubic clogging a little early. He's like, "Are you
Hmm.
flushing?" And it's like, "I do. Sometimes I don't." He's like,
Yeah.
"Just do it every day." And I'll tell you what, put in half a capful of white vinegar. I'm like, okay. And now it's been 2 weeks. When you have a suprapubic, and for all you suprapubics out there, and Shawn, live to roll, put this in the chat, yes or no. There is a distinct odor when you have a suprapubic, and it is like a nasty fish smell that you threw in the garbage a couple days ago. And then you open it up and you're like, damn, man. And it's gone. I've never not had that smell.
All right.
I was like, this is beautiful.
So,
Yeah.
so
And
you got a
yeah,
doctor.
so
You got a doctor for life now. You
I
know.
have a doctor for life. And
Yeah.
it sucks. And you wish you can see them all the time, for everything.
Yeah.
Like, really,
Yeah.
you're just my urologist. But
Yeah.
it was something new I learned after 35 years of putting a
Yeah.
little bit of white vinegar when you flush. It's like
So
it's
Yeah.
not going to
so
harm you.
yeah.
It's going to
So I
break
think that's
down
what.
the acidity.
So I think
Go
that's
ahead.
what it is. You build your team, right? I mean, you find a doctor here, you find a doctor there, and different spec because we just don't have can't have just one doctor that knows everything, with any expertise, right? So and that's the building of the team. Like you have your primary, then all of a sudden you got your urologist, you have your this and that, whatever, and that's your team that you build now. It's not like before where you'd go one place and it's all everything. Now it's like because it is a lot of the demeanor on the doctor. It's the guy that you want to have this like casual conversation, but he's involved with your health. So I get that. I
Yeah.
want to feel comfortable, and so age or you being a youthful doctor or older doctor doesn't really matter to me, just as long as I vibe with them. That's what matters.
Hmm.
Yeah, and Leon, your smell. Trust me. No, I'm kidding. Your smell, man. You're doing something right in life. I mean, mine doesn't smell all the time, but it's just every once in a while. It's just like, damn. Um, yeah, that's the catheter I have. The anti micro micro micro. Ah, I can't speak today. So, but it's basically the silver alloy catheter that I have. So, um,
Yeah.
what was I going to ask you
Black
guys?
Gold makes a good comment about, especially when you dehydrated. Your smell can change if you're
Okay.
dehydrated.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah.
True. Oh, this is what I wanted to talk about. And also over the years, and I just got off the phone with a surgeon today, and I did a CT scan, and he's just like asking me about, reading it and asking me, like, it reads different than what I'm going through. He's like, "You have no fever, you have no chills." And I'm like, "No." Because every time they do it, ever since I've had that, um, my chronic wound, whenever they do it, it looks like there's uh, um, a bone infection.
Hmm.
And I'm like, "No, I haven't. I don't have chills. I don't have fever. I don't have this or that. I always have a lot of pain." Ah, and Leon said something funny,
Yeah.
but
I saw.
yeah. Now,
Giving him a
I mean, I have extra pain lately, but that's about it. And he goes, "Well, yeah, that can cause it, but And I also have, what they saw was a cracked, uh, uh, what's that bone? Sacral bone. So it's cracked. And they're like, yeah, that can probably cause it. But, you know, he goes, what I'm going to do is, and I've had my other doctor treat me this way, treat the patients, not the results, and that goes for like UTIs. And that's my infectious disease doctor. I see her for more of my UTIs than my urologist because, she'll be always like, I'm treating you, not the results. So I'd rather
Yeah.
your body fight than something happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
bring up a comment that Chris R brought up. It's not always about having a younger doctor. It's not always a bad thing having a younger doctor, and that's true. I mentioned a clinic that I went to, and I had two different doctors there over a period of time. Excuse me. Both brand new doctors, fresh out of school, just started their internships. The one doctor was awesome. He was young, energetic, wanted to learn. He would ask me questions all the time. He was like, "Good God, you've been a paraplegic longer than I've been alive. Teach me what you know." The other guy already knew everything. He didn't want to learn anything from the patients. And the two different types of doctors wasn't so much their age; it's what they wanted to learn from the patients, because they figured
Uh,
they're learning just as much from us as we are learning from them. And it was just a mindset, regardless of their age.
and I was going to bring one other thing, with um, changing the subject, being that we've been talking about this for a while, but going back to New Mobility magazine and going through it. But we have Leon and we have Dominic. What's up? I saw that you came in, and now I got to find it. And I'm pissed I didn't bookmark it. But a new, I saw a little brief on an article about a new mouth stick for those that use mouth or chin control. And if you guys hear like pages turning when you're actually going through the magazine on digital, it makes a page turning sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like,
Does
Yeah.
that come out of your speakers? Do you hear something? You
yeah,
hear a.
like yeah, the page turning, yeah. So it's
That's
pretty
cool.
cool when it's at digital. But they had a good one on hands, quad hands, and then this new thing I found it, guys. It's called Mouth Sticks and Beyond by John Bear or Beer. Um, the Frankenstick, I think. So I'm gonna send this to Shawn, and maybe Shawn, you can post that up there and put it in. It's about mouth sticks. So I haven't read it, but I just saw it, so I thought for my guys out there that are using mouth sticks or anything like that, there's something new out there. Maybe it will help.
Yeah.
So I'll send that over.
There are some
There's
good articles in New Mobility always,
Yeah. And if you're not looking at it at least 2 or 3 times a year, you're missing out on a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, they have a lot of great content.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. That's my text to everybody. So there you go, Shawn. And not only that, so I was going through, there's even like you can go to certain sections. So there's sections on like mobility aids, uh, bathroom products, computer tech, fitness equipment, gaming. And one that I was just kind of going through was products and technology. And it's just like some you've heard of, and some are just like, you know, some amazing stuff. And, one thing I just came across was it was called Fiber is a wearable multi gripping aid. So it looks like a watch that it's got two things that go over your index finger and middle finger, and then grip makes it the grip tighter by um, by a string. And it was just like, you know, okay, something different that I haven't seen, but just going through some of these different products, uh, you're like, oh man, I didn't know that was out there. You just never know what you're going to find. I found that Quicky's making a new carbon um, lightweight chair that's easy. Robert and I saw this, but they have more of a article on the Phoenix, that wheelchair that we saw. That was it. Where do we see that, Robert? You're on mute, or maybe you took a
Were
phone
they
call.
physically showing it somewhere?
Yeah, it
Um,
was the new mill. It was the last edition they had it. It's the
yeah.
Phoenix One. It's in the news. It just shows under the news category.
Oh, that's that
And
one where everything's built into it, meaning so it
yeah,
looks
into
like
the
you have a
tubes,
regular
into the
chair.
fork tubes.
Yeah, and all you do is have a button, and then it helps. It's
Yeah,
like having emotions and a what you call it. What do you use? Smart drive. Looks like
yeah,
that's all built into the chair. It's
yeah,
looks like an amazing, and it just like kind of turns on a dime. I think it still has a ways to go, and
yeah. The
definitely
price,
seating.
the price though is up there. We were saying, like we
And
were
the
saying
price.
earlier, it's 15 grand,
Are
and
they
it's in the U.
developing that out of their headquarters in Fresno, Clovis,
Well, now,
or
what
is
was the
that one of
question?
their
Would
third
No,
party?
this is overseas, and Chris R
Yeah,
said
this is
it's
in UK. Yeah, it's in the
the
UK.
casters. It's the casters that are self-propelled. So
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's nice that there's things coming out, but again, you're paying the price too. Like
well, yeah,
7, 6, 7 grand, 8 grand was a lot for a carbon fiber manual chair. Now you're talking 15 grand.
right.
Yeah.
But
Because
it's like every time I
Promobile,
get back
yeah,
into this, it's like I learned so much going through all these different things that the products and articles,
yeah,
and it's really to more stay ahead of the game. And Chris R said it. Um, Nobody knows everything. If you ain't learning, you ain't trying.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
That's
Chris is
right.
right.
That's it.
Yeah, Chris is, but it just great stuff. So I'm giving my thumbs approval to New Mobility
Yeah,
Magazine, and
yeah.
you know, take a look at it. It's a great. Shawn was featured into not too long ago. Also, I had an article a couple years ago in it about my barbecuing. So had one of my recipes that I kind of stole probably, but
Yeah, because
so
I didn't even know about New Mill. I think I got into it about 2018 is when I started finding out about it. Because like I was with um, Luis mentioning Spoken Sports and Paraplegia News, and I was familiar with those only because when I was at the beginning of my injury, but I didn't. I watched, looked at it for a little while, and that was it. But then
Yeah.
mm,
once I
They, I
got back
think
into
they
the community,
might still be around. I'm not
yeah,
sure.
I don't know, but yeah, I just
Um,
know I like New Mobility magazine. I think it's got
yeah.
like Bobby was saying earlier, it's got good articles in it. It's got reviews on equipment. It's just overall, it's got a lot of information in it for people with disabilities.
and not only I just kind of came across it, but there was a article on best traveling products for wheelchair
Yeah, yeah,
users. But
yeah.
that Phoenix, they make some amazing suitcases and bags that hook
Mhm.
onto the back of your chair, and it's just so easy to maneuver. So I've seen their travel stuff, and it's once again it's on the pricey side. I think they come out of um, not Australia, New Zealand. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I could be, but yeah. Chris, that was my baclofen burgers. That's funny.
Baclofen burgers. Oh God.
Sounds
So,
delicious.
Bobby, you're right though. But the best travel gear. I used to be a road warrior for U.S. Food Service. I would travel from branch office to branch office around the country, and none of my stuff was built for a wheelchair. But I was able to buy stuff that worked well with the wheelchair. But that stuff wasn't inexpensive either. It cost a pretty arm and a leg for that stuff. But the best stuff does. Having the right gear makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. More than you know. And I've always, you know, travel not with a suitcase, but a big duffel bag like you would get from the gym. And
Yeah,
because it was just easier to put on my lap than dealing with a
Yeah,
suitcase that was
yeah.
square, boxy, would always fall off my lap. And,
yeah.
it just always felt like it was easier to travel with an exercise, big duffel gym bag.
Yeah,
But they,
I actually at what do they call that? Harbor Freight. I hope everybody here knows what a Harbor Freight store is. They sell tools all over the country. Almost every town has one, and they have a big bottle that has like every kind of bungee cord you've ever seen, different types and different sizes and all that, and you could buy them all in one bottle, and it's great because you could hook up anything to your wheelchair with that $12 bottle of bungee cords. You could hook up anything. It was great. Yeah, I see Chris down there loves Harbor Freight.
eh,
I'm a member of the club, baby.
I'm a Ace Hardware member.
Are you? There you go.
It's simple, easy to get in and out, or the one I have.
Hey,
Yeah, they're
Leon
they're
brings
they're,
up a
they're always
point.
helpful
He
there.
needs tips on traveling. We should do a
I'm
travel
sorry.
show.
Yeah, we
Leon
definitely should.
brings up he needs tips for traveling.
Yeah. Well,
That would
ask
be a
away right
good
now,
show.
but definitely we can look into that and have it on our Tuesday or Thursday show. But yeah, because it can go on and on and on, and I mean,
Yeah,
uh, of the different tips and bags and to what to bring and how much to bring and
Yeah,
connections.
the difference
What
between
to have in
traveling
your go bag.
internationally and nationally, there's a lot of different things there that
mhm,
Being SCIs, what do you put in your go bag? You
that.
got to have the right
How are
stuff.
you? And there's some people, how are you going to empty, on an airplane? How are you going to, cath or empty a leg bag? And
Yeah,
go, yeah, it goes on and on. There's so many different, things that we can talk about. So yeah, Leon, definitely, that's a great topic probably for next time, and get somebody who's been a world traveler like, uh, there you go.
next
next
So
Thursday.
Thursday travel.
they're going to be talking about, they beat us to it. Good job. Um, but there's so many different things that tips and stuff like that. I think we can do a week of shows, and
Mhm.
it never gets old.
Yes, Leon, you should come to the LA Mobility Expo or the Ability Expo. Absolutely.
Yeah, I
Now,
definitely want to have you come out.
Leon's in what, Minnesota, Leon?
I
That'll
think
be
so.
quite a trip, but it'll be worth it.
And I have a good friend, Leon, that lives in Arizona, that's traveled all around the world with um, his your type of disability, not your type, but higher injury level.
Yeah. Uh, Live to Roll. We took a road trip with what was it, five quads and a pair incomplete para, and we had a great old time. You know,
Oh, those are the best. Yeah,
six
especially in
seven
my
hours across the desert.
especially of my old days of rugby and traveling with the whole team. So, yeah, he's in Minnesota. All right, guys, it's getting into that hour. I think we can spin back and I'll just briefly say what I've been saying the whole time about New Mobility Magazine. But great show, and Robert, if you want to go through our sponsor and our upcoming shows coming.
Okay. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Mobility Professionals and Urology Professionals. Like we said earlier, they're a great and helpful group of professionals. They're very good at what they do, and that is providing the best and durable medical equipment along with excellent customer service. And they're available to assist you with your needs, so check them out. Mobility Professionals services the Southern California region, so contact them if you are in need of any DME equipment. Their sister company, Urology Professionals, they can help you with all your catheter needs. They're based here in Southern California, but provide service nationally. So wherever you're at in the US of A, they're there to help you with your catheters. So give them a call, Urology Professionals. Thanks for sponsoring us as well. Both Urology Professionals and Mobility Professionals are sponsors of Lift to Roll.
Absolutely.
Okay, the upcoming shows. Next Monday, coming up Monday is Hell Wheels. He's every Monday at 5 o'clock, I believe. And is he going to return, or has he been back on the air yet? I haven't paid much attention
He
to.
returned.
Because I
My
know he's
bad.
been on he's been on a couple of the support groups. Anyway, Mondays is Hell Wheels at 5 o'clock. Tuesdays a Live to Roll Live. Every Tuesday, the boys, three musketeers there: Bobby, Shawn, and Tom. They'll talk live, and that's the original show. Wednesday, T Fizzle, Gaming with T Fizzle, 5 o'clock. Another gaming show every Wednesday. And next Thursday, is the Rollin with the Golden Oldies, and they'll be talking to the travel show. And the third Thursday would be Wheel Girl Talk. So they're the first. The first Thursday is Rolling with the Golden Oldies. Thursday is Wheel Girl Talk. We're the second and fourth Thursdays, and then you got Live to Roll Live on Tuesdays, and the two gaming shows on Monday and Wednesday. Full schedule.
Yep.
Full schedule there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
hope I didn't confuse everybody, but yeah, there's some action going on in Live to Roll.
We're here 4 days a week, people. We're not here just one day. 4 days a week. We're
And
here for you guys.
But what's
we had
great is finding out everybody who's checked it out after the live stream. So
yeah.
definitely, it's better when you check us out live. It helps out the numbers, but yeah,
Schedules, your schedule may not always be in sync, but we always have the recorded shows.
Yes.
yeah. So yeah, Chris is right. The Paralympic Games start at August 28th. I saw a lot 4 years ago on Peacock, so I think it's going to be the same way this year.
Well, I'm just glad that they're on TV now, that we have access to it.
Yeah, you don't get that little whatchamacallit blurb on
Yeah.
ESPN News. The one person,
that's
and usually it was an amputee when it was
yeah.
what's his name?
Yeah, no,
The one
it's
who
good. It's
turned
good
out to
stuff.
kill his girlfriend after everything. They're all said and done.
The guy from South Africa.
Yeah. What was his name? I'm just.
He did time, didn't he? I'm doing time, something like
He's
that.
still in there, isn't he?
Yeah, okay. I remember the story. I do remember the story.
Oscar.
You're right. It's
Yeah,
Oscar.
it's
I'm right there. I know it's on the tip of
Starts
my
with a
tongue.
P.
I want to say pastrami, but that's not it. Something like that. But yeah. So, but check it out. We got actually the Blade Runner.
Oscar Pistorius.
Pistorius.
That's it. That's pretty
Yeah.
close. That's it.
Pastrami was pretty close.
What got me in the direction, and I pulled it up, and it is him.
Okay. Who was the guy, the announcer on the Paralympics, who during the games, as they were calling the games, he was like the color man, the expert, and he was calling out the Paralympics for the way it used to be run compared to the way it was run now. Before the uh,
Uh-uh.
Paralympics and Special Olympics merged into one. Do you remember
I don't
that? They like
know.
that next hour he didn't come back on and they let him go.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because he was complaining about how the Paralympic had changed, and then it's not the same as it was. And that next hour, he was gone and never came back
Nah,
ever since.
keep your big mouth shut. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's times when you gotta just not say anything.
Yeah, yeah. All right, everyone. Great show. Once again, big endorsement to No Mobility Magazine. I can't stop looking at it over here to
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
left of
Yeah.
me, just coming across now exercise equipment. And I'm just like, oh my God, yeah. Oh, yeah, cool. So take a look at it, and we will catch you. I will catch you on Tuesday. I'll be back. No appointments coming up for that Tuesday, so I will be back with Tom and Shawn and the boys. I heard you guys covered in pretty well for me, so thank you so
Took
much.
two of us to cover for you.
That's what they
Yeah,
say.
for those of you that don't know, Robert and I will be out at the local user groups for Triumph Foundation. So, like Casa Cleana, he was out the other day for Ballard when we had adaptive bowling. Um, Next Tuesday, I'll be in San Diego for a disabled kids event that they're putting on down there. Um,
How was the skateboarding? The
Skateboarding was fun. There
It
were
went in fun.
not as many spinal cord injuries as usual there. There were a few there. There were several amputees and developmental disabilities. There was quite a
Nice.
few.
Cool.
So it was a nice turnout, but it took a little while for people to gather.
Mm,
Um, that happened about 10 miles from where I live, so it's just right down the freeway. It was
nice.
great. Trying to remember. So there's some event happening in August, and I can't remember what it is,
That's
and I wanted
the
to remind
shooting.
everybody.
August 11th is the shooting range going out there, Apple Valley or whatever it is, for
Mm.
Oh,
Triumph. I know that.
okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
And I,
those of you that don't know, we go out to a shooting range and do some shooting, and
Ones that are
don't we
local.
also have a Ventura State Beach where we do hand cycling?
there's hand cycling. I think it's always at around the 28th. So let me check 26th or 28th. Or
Is
actually,
that
I think
Buena
it's
Vista? Is that Buena
no, it's
Vista?
Ventura. It's
Yeah.
Ventura.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Ventura State Beach.
Ventura shooting is August 11th. August 17th is Ventura. And then we are putting together another Push the Pier
Oh,
coming
love
up
that.
here
That
and
was cool.
up in Long Beach. So that's
I'll be
either going
good.
to be on the
Is that going to be Belmont Shores again?
yeah. I think
That's it.
that's our August
That's
26th.
a
That's a
great
nice beach.
location. Great
Yeah.
location because it's all flat, and then also there's an area where you can get really close to the shore. Really, I mean,
Yeah.
right there on the water. Nice,
You
nice
guys go
spot.
out on the pier as well?
Yeah, we went to past the pier.
Yeah, we went past on
Yeah.
the pier,
It's a good
past the
spot. Good,
and
good
ate at
spot,
the pier.
Bobby. Good
Yeah.
choice of location. So anyway, we need to get going. So thanks everybody, and we'll see you next time. Live to roll.
Live to roll,
Live the
everyone.
roll.